Prepare for international travel once again as we are headed to Australia to learn how to run smart meetings, how partnerships can boost your business, and how today's guest acquired clients like Spotify, Nike, Dropbox, Twitter, Slack, you name it. These are all questions we will get the answers to in today's interview. Darren Chait is the co-founder of Hugo, a platform that brings all of your meeting notes and tasks together into one place. Hugo is currently used by over 20,000 customers and was just awarded top 10 most innovative companies of 2021 by Fast Company. Stay tuned for tons of learning advice. But before I bring on today's awesome guest, let's learn how he podcasts. Darren, which platform do you stream your shows through?
I am a Spotify fan.
Spotify. When in the day do you find yourself listening to Spotify?
My world's changed a little bit with no commute anymore, so all over the place, really. But my favorite is while I'm walking, going to get a coffee, in between things, trying to get some air. So while I'm on the go.
Little multitasking there. I like that. So you found out how Darren podcasts. I want to hear how you do as well. Email me info@vincentalancy.com and I will feature you on a show. And with that, I want to welcome you back to That Entrepreneur Show, your favorite podcast. I am your host, Vincent A. Lancy. You can find more on me at Vincent A. Lancy across social media platforms, YouTube, or my website, vincentalancy.com. For those new to the show, each week since December 2019, I have had the opportunity to sit down with the founder of a company or brand to share what worked well for them, what they needed to improve on, and all of their learning lessons along the way right here on this show. There are also bonus episodes for you to enjoy, including the Rewind the Clock series, where I bring back previous guests to share what's new in their world. You never know which motivational journey will inspire you most. Here he is, our guest from Sydney, Australia, also spending time in San Francisco. Darren co-founded Hugo following his shared frustration with costly, inefficient meetings that he experienced firsthand in a prior life as a corporate lawyer. Today, Hugo is leading meeting workflow solutions across the board, powering meetings for tens of thousands of customers. Backed by Google, Slack, and leading VCs, Hugo is on a mission to connect the way we meet to the way we work. Not only did today's guest co-found Hugo, he also speaks about Hugo at leading tech conferences like Toronto's Collision in 2019, in which Darren opened for Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau in front of 29,000 people. Another area he plans on touching on is how collaboration is changing, what the workplace is going to look like, and modern team dynamics. Let's learn all these tools for success and more. Darren Chait, thank you so much for stopping by the show.
Thanks for having me, Vincent. Looking forward to it.
Me as well. Would you mind introducing yourself to our listeners and previewing who you are before we dive into business talk?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, great to be here. I'm Darren, co-founder and COO of Hugo. We are the meeting productivity hub for teams. We are on a mission to connect the way we meet to the way we work. And I love talking, all things about the way we work and what's changed so much, especially over the last 2 years.
I love how this company was born out of a need. You experienced it firsthand. I'd love to talk about that moment a little more and to what pushed you into this entrepreneur journey, a long way from corporate lawyer.
Yeah, a long way from being a lawyer, but the frustration was there. You see, the thing is, right, with meetings, which we can all relate to, the the frustration I experienced was I spent so much of my time in meetings. Most of my day was sitting there in a room, and as soon as we left the room, most of the value in what we generated had dissipated into thin air. If you weren't in the room, you had no idea what was going on. And the inefficiencies just killed me. And the thing about law, like many other professional services, is that you charge by your time. So when we'd have one of these wasteful meetings, you'd walk out and you'd actually see the bill and what that waste of time cost. And it blew my mind. So chatting to a good friend of mine, Josh, who I'd worked with before, he was a product manager at a tech company in San Francisco. He had the same pain point. and we said we've got to do something about this. Let's start something.
A lesson for everyone listening on: if there's a need for something and you fill that need, chances are success has a good chance at following you too. We mentioned you were an attorney. Now you're an entrepreneur. What are two of the hardest parts of being on your own rather than backed by a firm?
Yeah. There's definitely a lot of benefits. I think the hardest bits of being an entrepreneur and working on your own is that firstly the ups and downs. So until you've sort of experienced them before, every challenge feels like it's world ending. The first time someone leaves your company, the first time you lose a customer, it feels like it's all over. You might as well give up now. We're never going to get there. And of course, that's not the case. But you're sort of, just figuring out the path as you go and don't quite know what's ahead of you. And not being able to switch off, I think, is the challenge. Ultimately, if you take PTO and as work for a big company, while you're off, you don't really care, right? Like
You're
I
off.
can switch off someone else. I'm off. Someone's got it for me. But as you know, when you're doing your own thing, when you're building your own business, you're never really off. And there's a lot of benefits to that and the flexibility and doing something you care so passionately about. But when you never really have a break, it definitely takes a toll on you over a longer period of time.
You need to know when to turn off. That's a great example there. What do you like to do in your time turned off?
I have a 3-year-old, so plenty of family time at the moment. It's definitely keeping me busy. I still read a ton, and until not unfortunately not so long ago, I used to travel. So I lived in the US for almost 5 years, and every other weekend we tried to get away and explore.
Well, congratulations on your somewhat newborn. That must be great out there in Australia. I want to now also ask you about, as we're recording this here in right around Halloween time, how is the COVID situation in Australia right now?
Yeah, it's okay. Australia's sort of dealt with things a little strangely. They're a little slow on the vaccine rollout, and they really tried for a zero COVID world, which, as we know, isn't quite possible. So everything's been in complete lockdown until literally 2 weeks ago. So we haven't been out and everyone's been locked at home and until now. So finally things are opening up, but a little bit behind the rest of the world.
Well, I hope you enjoy your back into reality times. I hope you enjoy your past restaurants and all the things you used to do very much. I
Exactly.
know from past interviews I've had with Australia entrepreneurs, the lockdown was real over there. I'm in Florida, so it's quite a bit different. But I want to delve into your brain here now. Darren, as you're a reader, I'm very much looking forward to your answer. Who would you choose to sit down and speak with if you could talk business with any entrepreneur, talk life with any entrepreneur?
I'd have to. Oh, there's a good few examples here.
Please, yeah.
From a yeah from an interest sense, Elon Musk has to be one of the craziest, most amazing entrepreneurs out there. I think I could learn just from learn so much and be so inspired there. So that's definitely someone that I would absolutely love to meet. There's plenty of authors in the space that I would really want to learn from. I think people like General Stanley McChrystal, who wrote a book, Team of Teams, that's inspired so much of what we do and the way we operate, would be really amazing. And I think another one would be Jack Dorsey. He's founded two companies, Twitter and Square, and there's both of which are incredible businesses that I would totally love to chat about.
All right, well, let's delve deeper now. Pick one of those entrepreneurs. Where would you choose to meet them? Pick the meeting location. Where would you like to be?
I would take, let's say Elon Musk. I would take a walk along Bondi Beach, right near where I'm from, famous in Sydney, with a really good coffee in hand. It's funny. I think I love to do as many meetings as I can walking. It definitely changes the dynamic and the relationship. And I would be going for a walk along Bondi and having a chat about life and building Tesla and SpaceX and Boring Company and all of his businesses.
I'm sure you become quite inspired. But speaking of inspiration, let's inspire our audience here, Darren. What is next for you? What's next for all of your entrepreneurial endeavors? What are you working on?
Yeah, at Hugo, it's all about growth right now. We've got a very ambitious mission.
You do, yeah.
We're yeah. So changing the way the world meets, and creating the piece of software that's helping every business run better meetings is obviously very ambitious. So
Well,
for us, that's getting to a million users and continuing to grow and grow and grow while building the category around us.
you're doing a great job. You're definitely leading your space at such a young age. Congratulations with it. I now would like to ask for your take on our spotlight story, Darren. If it's your first time with us, I share the entrepreneurial journey of a fellow business owner, founder of a brand or company to get our guest take on it. And as we have a rock star from Australia being interviewed, I will now introduce the journey of another who made their mark in Australia, John Elon. Prepare for an incredible journey of resilience, and it's an unlikely success story as I learned from the article a Muslim immigrant from Turkey found his way there. And the article also put his life story and accomplishments are, quote, as moving as it is informative to business leaders of all ages and background. So prepare for a cool story. And as I briefly mentioned, I learned that he, even though is considered one of the top entrepreneurs from Australia on many lists, he was not born there as he was born in Yozgat, Turkey, and moved to Australia at 5 years old. I learned it may have been his upbringing in a working class neighborhood that pushed him to achieve great success from the hard work and his drive to outsell his competition. He studied at La Trobe University for a year and then quickly made his way through a couple of sales jobs at Ford and Strathfield Car Radio. But once he left Strathfield, he actually opened up shop directly across the street and opened his one-person operation selling cell phones. This business actually went on to become an empire. Crazy John's mobile phone retail chain certainly placed him on the entrepreneurial map in Australia. He used some of his profits to launch countless philanthropic efforts, I learned, and contributed large earnings to several charitable organizations in Australia. He unfortunately died at the young age of 43 to a heart attack, but his presence is still known. Darren, what do you like best about his story? Do you have any take to add as an Australian?
Yeah, so I've definitely heard of him and of Crazy John's, and it is a well-known story. I think the interesting thing for me there is about the role of immigrants in Australian business and seeing someone that's successful. I have a personal view where I have a lot of respect for immigrants that especially when they're able to pull something off as ambitious as what John Ilhan has done. It says a lot. It's a big deal to uproot and leave
Yeah,
your family and go overseas and do something. And Australia is an incredibly diverse place, and there's unbelievable mix of cultures and people from everywhere. And that's just another great example of the unbelievable success that people from different places have had in Australia, and definitely continues to inspire me.
I appreciate that take right there and your whole episode. I have to thank you so much for stopping by the show. I love how you inspired our listeners right away, but you had money, you had a great job, great field, but there's something like you mentioned you were so passionate about that you went for it. You shared the negative parts of entrepreneurship, but I'm sure as a new father, you enjoy some of the benefits like the flexible schedule. I like how you shared the role of COVID there. And of course, the difficult parts of being an entrepreneur. Again, you hit it right on the head. I would now like to ask you for your last word.
Yeah, ultimately it comes from one of the biggest mistakes we've made, but what's helped us be successful to some extent, and that's to surround yourself with great people. When you are
Well,
fortunate enough to build a team and hire really smart people to help you do what you do, um, leave your problems with those people. You're hiring great people to help solve your problems. You don't need to have all the answers, and we definitely learned that the hard way. I thought my role as a leader is to have all the answers, but socializing them, sharing them, and allowing your team to help come up with a solution takes a lot of pressure off you and leads to better outcomes. So keep that in mind. You got great people. Definitely, a problem shared is a problem halved, as they say.
incredible advice as entrepreneurs. This is our baby, our business and our products. This is our baby. We're letting it out into the world, and it's tough to let it go for the first time. Now, tell everyone where they continue to get great advice like this by checking you out on social media, website, Hugo, all things.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, check me out on Twitter. It's at Darren Chait, or our website, hugo.team, TEAM. You can sign up free. Absolutely transform the way you meet with the leading meeting productivity hub at hugo.team. And would love to continue the conversation. So feel free to reach out on social.
Be sure to check out everything Darren has to offer and check out the show too at That Entrepreneur Show on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. Twitter, we are at Podcasts by Lancey because of the character limit, but it gives you updates from all of my shows. My handles are at Vincent A. Lancey for all social media, YouTube, and my website is vincentalancey.com. It's time to end the show with a quote that inspired me, and it's from our Spotlight Entrepreneur. I had to sell myself because that's all I had. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you next week on That Entrepreneur Show. Darren, thank you for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.